Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today we're going to be working with our 2011 Polaris Sportsman 850. Specifically, we're going to change all the fluids in what I call the driveline system. And that's basically made up of three different pieces. You've got your front gear case that connects to your main drive axles up front. And with that, you're going to be using what they call a demand drive fluid. Next, we're going to look at the transmission and replace the fluid in it, and it uses an AGL fluid. And in the back, the rear drive uses a angle drive fluid, just to make things complicated. So three different fluids, three different pieces of equipment. I'm going to walk you through each one and get them checked and then changed out. So let's bring her up in the air and get started. Alright guys, went ahead and got her turned around and went ahead and pulled the front right tire so you can see what I'm doing in here. If you do this, just make sure you get the machine back level, because that's very critical when we go to refill. Alright, we're dealing with the front gear case, and there's basically two different housings that we need to be concerned with. You've got the front section, which you can just drain it. The drain bolt is right up under here, and your fill bolt is up top. So we're going to go ahead and pull the fill bolt as well as the drain and get this front section drained out. And both the fill and the drain bolts are just an 8mm Allen. What you want to look for as it's draining out is to make sure it isn't milky colored or anything like that. Alright, that one pretty black. Ooh. So it definitely needed to be changed. Did you see how little came out? Oof. That is not a good sign, because it holds over a half a quart in the front section. Alright, she is finished draining, and believe me, this is sad, because that can't be more than a couple of ounces. So I'm amazed that this thing wasn't making a whole lot of noise. So we caught it just at the very tail end to get this thing changed out. Hopefully it'll be alright. All we have to do is just reinstall our drain plug. Make sure that little O-ring was on there. And then all you need is some type of real simple little hand pump like this. And we're going to refill it from that, that top fill hole. It holds about 10 ounces, so that'll roughly be a third of this bottle. All you have to do is just start pumping it in there until it starts to run out. And when it runs out, you can go and reinstall the bolt. That's really all there is to it. Alright, and looks like we're there. And next, what we're going to do is look at the active descent control, which is actually this mechanism right back over here. Now to check that one, it actually has a reservoir, like I mentioned earlier, that's up under the storage rack up front. So what we're going to do is bring it down on the lift, then pull that front storage compartment, and I'll show you how to check it. And like I said, we don't want to drain it. Well, we just want to flush it through. So as it's draining down, we want to keep that reservoir full. So let me get this thing dropped down and I'll show you where to go next. Alright, to access that reservoir, we need to remove this front storage compartment. To do that, you just flip up these two anchors. Lift it straight up and pull it out of the hooks down on the bottom. Alright, have to dig just a little bit further by removing this center cover. A couple of Torx head bolts there, and then it'll pull straight forward. This is the reservoir after, is the one over on the right. It's the yellow topped one. The other side is your reservoir for your brake system. So what we're going to do, pull off the cap, get out this little rubber seal, and it's about a third of the way full. So what we're going to do is go ahead and fill it up all the way, and then I'm going to go down below and open the bleeder valve and let it just gravity feed. But we just need to make sure that this never runs dry. Down below, there's actually a bleeder valve on either side, but we're just going to pull the one on this side. Connect up a length of hose to go to our drip pan, and then crack it open. And this hose that I've got, I'd say it's around 1/4 of an inch. That 3/16, 1/4 inch, anything in that neighborhood will do it. Go ahead and give it a couple of turns. Really open it up. This is where it's going to be kind of boring, because it's going to take a while for the fluid to flow down and get up and out of here. So leave that cracked open for several minutes. Make sure that your level never goes below that where that reservoir is, and we just want to basically drain it through. Probably about 4 or 5 ounces is all that's going to be necessary. So once it all bleeds through, you want to close off the bleeder valve down below and bring the fluid up to the correct level. Also want to replace that inner seal as well as your outer cap. Go and get your storage box in place, and then snug it down with those 2 anchors. Alright, that'll complete the front gear case. Now what I need to do is get all this mess cleaned up, remount the front tire, and then I'm going to reposition the jack on the back, go and pull the rear tire to where you can see what I'm doing. So let me get that done, and we'll get started on that transmission fluid. I chose to remove the rear skid plate just to get it out of the way so you could see what I was doing. You don't absolutely have to do this, but it makes less of a mess with it, away from the machine. Okay, we've got our skid plate, at least the rear one, removed, as well as the tire, obviously. And what you're after here is your drain bolt, which is right here, and this is your fill bolt. So we're going to go ahead and remove both of those. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that the Allen that you're using is all the way in there, because if it's not, you can strip out the outer edge of the bolt. We don't want that. Make sure your drip pan's under the machine. So it's basically going to go onto that front skid plate and then work its way out through a couple of the different holes. Alright. At least it had some fluid in it compared to the front gear case. And that's really dark. So like the front end, I don't think this has ever been changed. And I checked the mileage on this machine. It's got 2,350 miles and a little over 211 hours. So that's an awfully long time to go without taking care of your driveline fluids. I'm surprised no damage has happened to it. Now if you look at the end of this drain bolt, it's actually got a magnet inside of it. See all those little filings? That's all the wear that was going on inside this transmission. So I need to get that cleaned off, get all that oil cleaned up after it finishes draining, and then we'll get it refilled. Okay? The only thing we need to do now is go ahead and put in our drain plug. Remember, that's the one with the magnet on the end. Make sure that O-ring is in place and not cut or anything like that. And we're going to go ahead and fill it up. It takes about 37 ounces, which is why you're going to have 2 of these. So it'll go all the way through one and about 3 or 4 ounces out of the other. All right. This will take a little while. Like I said, the second one, you'll need about 3 or 4 ounces out of it, and then it should start running out. And I think there she goes. Yeah, it's starting to run out. All right, next we go ahead and put in our fill cap. Get it tightened back down. It's around 12, 14 foot-pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. So not a lot of torque required. All right, from here, I just need to reposition the machine a little bit, move this jack stand, get that other jack back here in the middle, and we'll go ahead and get the rear gear case drained and refilled. All right, guys, well, we're nearing the end of our project. The last thing we need to do is go ahead and drain our rear gear case, whatever you want to call it. The fill plug is up here, the drain is down here. So let's get those busted loose and go ahead and get her drained out. Hopefully she'll look to be in better shape than that front one. So that certainly scared me. Alright, that is actually not that bad looking. Didn't look too milky or anything like that, so I don't think it had any water in it. And there was a fair amount of volume to it. A few foulings on the end of the drain plug, but nothing that severe given the mileage that this machine has on it. So we'll get that cleaned off. Let it finish draining. Looks like it's about done. Go ahead and pop this plug back in. Everything looks to be in good shape. So we're going to go ahead and pop it back on there. Alright, like I said at the beginning, this is the third type fluid we're going to be using for this machine, and it's the angle drive fluid. So make sure that's what you put in here. Well, okay, that is really all there is to it. 3 different oil types, 4 different locations, and now she's ready to go back on the trail. Well, listen, if you need any of these parts, come see us at Partzilla.com, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. So until then, be safe out there, and thanks for watching.